If you are using fruits and vegetables, aim for 5 fruits and vegetables a day. That's not 5 different fruits and vegetables, it's just 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. And for toddlers, the serving size could be anywhere from 1/3 of a cup to 1/2 a cup. Hey folks, let's talk about toddler constipation. Many toddlers get constipated, and this can be a huge obstacle to toilet training. So today I want to help you understand toddler constipation and give you a few high-fiber foods that can help your toddler get back on track with regular bowel movements. Foods for your toddler's constipation can certainly help, and they can help you avoid having to put your toddler on medication to treat their constipation. So in this video, I'm going to cover some high-fiber foods for your toddler's constipation. I'm also going to talk about the different types of fibers so you understand that better, and give you a few more tips, so make sure you stay to the end. And hey, if you want to learn more about toddler nutrition or nutrition for your kids in general, make sure to like this video, comment below, and follow this channel. So did you know that about 3 to 5% of pediatrician visits are all about constipation? Yep, lots of kids have constipation. It can be painful. It can be really hard to navigate if you're a parent. And one of the things that we want to do as parents is make sure we have a variety of foods in the diet, particularly high fiber foods, so that we can prevent toddler constipation. What are the signs of constipation in toddlers? Well, number 1, hard to pass stools. So you've got straining, you've got avoidance, you've got a toddler that sits on the potty for a long time without making any bowel movement. This is a clear sign that there may be some constipation. If you see lumpy or hard stools or pebbles, stool that looks like pebbles or small stones, these are signs of constipation. So a bowel movement, there are lots of pictures on the internet about what a bowel movement should look like, but it should be one cohesive mass, and it should be smooth, and it should be easy to pass. The other sign is if your toddler is moving their bowels less than 3 times a week, they probably have constipation. And the last sign of constipation is called encopresis. Encopresis is diarrhea, and so it can be super baffling for parents who have a constipated kid who has diarrhea. You don't even think your kid's constipated because all you see is diarrhea. Well, what can happen is a child is actually constipated, the stool gets backed up into the colon, and the colon swells up, and what happens is because they can't pass the stool, other stool is still being made further up in the digestive tract, and it just doesn't get hard and formed, and it is a diarrhea consistency, and it leaks out around the impaction or the constipated stool in the colon. So if your child is soiling their pants, having little bits of diarrhea or loose stools and not really noticing that they're having it, or having an urge to make a bowel movement, that can be a sign of constipation. So why do kids get constipated? Well, there are 4 main things that are the biggest reasons why kids get constipated. Number 1 is their diet. So children who have a diet that is low in fiber are at a high risk of developing constipation. Other foods can be constipating for toddlers, specifically dairy products. Not all toddlers respond to dairy products with constipation, but some toddlers, it can be a problem for them. Along with diet goes not enough fluid, or not enough water, or fluid type foods, or foods that contain a lot of fluid in them in the toddler's diet. So diet is a big reason why kids get constipated. The second reason is illness. So when kids get sick, even if it's just the common cold or an ear infection, they get off their regular routine, they get off the regular foods that they eat, and this can cause a side effect of constipation. As I mentioned before, number 3, withholding stool. So this is the toddler that doesn't want to go number 2 on the potty. They might be afraid to go number 2. It could even be the older preschooler who doesn't want to go the bathroom at school. This can cause the child to withhold or contain their stool and avoid passing it. When that happens over and over again, that can cause constipation in a toddler. And then the 4th reason is changes in a child's routine, their environment, or increased levels of stress. So for example, when you travel as a family, that can oftentimes cause constipation in a child. It can do it in an adult too. If a child's more stressed about starting school or having separation anxiety, that can contribute to constipation. Anytime there's a change of environment, you're moving houses, you're moving to a new state, you're going away for the holidays and you're spending some time with relatives, these can unfortunately cause constipation in the toddler. So what kinds of foods can help toddlers with constipation? Well, foods that contain fiber are your best bet. And not only can they treat constipation, they can prevent it, which is even more powerful. So there are 2 different types of fiber that you will find in food. Soluble fiber, which are the fibers in food that dissolve in water, and they add bulk to stool and they help draw water into the colon, which helps stool to be easier to pass. So foods like oats, barley, and fruit are examples of foods with soluble fiber. The other type of fiber is insoluble fiber. Insoluble fiber does not break down in the digestive tract. It does not dissolve in water. Examples of this would be wheat bran and some of the vegetables that have more stringy quality to them. Celery comes to mind. We don't digest those strings of celery in our intestines. And so these foods will add bulk to the stool, making it take on that shape and form that is easier to pass. Now, when you're selecting high fiber foods, you want to include both types of fiber, the foods with soluble fiber and the foods with insoluble fiber. Basically, when you think about the food groups, the 5 different food groups that we have, 3 of them are really good things to include in your toddler's diet: fruits, vegetables, and whole grains. Those 3 categories of foods are where you're going to find the most fiber to add to your child's diet. So some of the examples of foods for toddler constipation are things like pear nectar. So pear nectar is not pear juice, it's not pear fruit drink. Pear nectar is a fruit juice that has added pulp or added sugar, or it's a blend of different juices. Pear nectar can stimulate water coming into the bowel and creating a bowel movement. So it actually stimulates the intestinal tract to contract and move the stool through the bowel. Pear nectar is a liquid that you can give your toddler in small amounts that may help relieve constipation quickly. Berries are another good food to help with toddler constipation. Berries contain lots of seeds. Think about raspberries. You can see all the little seeds on the outside of the raspberry. Strawberry, the same thing. You can see the little seeds. Those little seeds are little nuggets of fiber. And so including berries in your toddler's diet can really help with preventing toddler constipation. Cherries or apricots contain sorbitol, which has a laxative effect, so it helps you go to the bathroom. Prunes and seeds have a lot of fiber in them, and so you can add these to snack time or breakfast and help your toddler move their bowels on a regular routine basis. Molasses is a source of magnesium. Magnesium helps muscles relax and move stool through the intestines. So the intestine is a muscle, And so it contracts, and that's how stool moves on through from the mouth to out the bottom. So using molasses, say in a bowl of oatmeal, for example, may help stimulate a bowel movement if your toddler is constipated. Beans and lentils are great sources of protein, but they are terrific sources of fiber. If you can find ways to include beans in your toddler's diet, that will really help prevent constipation. Whole grain breads, crackers, and pasta are going to contain way more fiber than plain white bread or plain crackers or plain regular pasta. If you can start to make the switch when you've got a toddler, you're going to be ahead of the game, and you're going to add more fiber to their diet and help keep them regular day after day. Last, raisins are a great way to introduce fiber, but there was a research study that showed one little box of raisins each day helped increase the transit time in the gut. That is the time it takes for food to go from the mouth out the bottom. It increased that transit time. In other words, it sped it up. So that helped keep children moving their bowels regularly. Interesting stuff. Interesting to think that food can quickly treat constipation, but moreover, routinely getting these higher fiber foods into your toddler's diet is the key to preventing constipation, because once you get constipated, it can be hard to reverse it. So really trying to keep your toddler on a routine with thinking about a fiber-containing food at each meal or snack. That can be as simple as adding a fruit or a vegetable or choosing a whole grain. If you think about it for every meal, you'll be way ahead of the game in terms of preventing toddler constipation. If you are using fruits and vegetables, aim for 5 fruits and vegetables a day. That's not 5 different fruits and vegetables, it's just 5 servings of fruits and vegetables. And for toddlers, a serving size could be anywhere from 1/3 of a cup to 1/2 a cup. Make sure with certain fruits and vegetables to leave the skin on. If you're baking a potato, leave the skin on. If you are making home fries, leave the skin on. If you're giving your child tomatoes or apples, leave the skin on. It will create a more fibrous or fiber-rich food and be helpful to your toddler. Make sure your toddler is getting plenty of fluids. If you increase the fiber in your toddler's diet and you don't make sure your toddler's getting enough fluid, you can create constipation. So all these fiber-containing foods need to have plenty of liquids delivered with them. So always make sure you're offering something to drink with meals and in between meals and snacks. Water is a great option in between meals. I love it when I see parents offering water between meals throughout the day. You can do milk or, and I prefer milk as the primary beverage with meal times. That's something that's appropriate to offer with all these other foods at mealtime, but in between and consistently throughout the day, make sure your toddler's getting plenty of fluids. The other thing is make sure your toddler's moving. So physical activity, moving the body, helps stimulate bowel movements also. If your toddler is hanging around watching their iPad or TV or doing a lot of sedentary things, that can contribute to constipation. So make sure your toddler stays active during the day. The other thing is you can think about a probiotic, discuss this with your pediatrician. There's really no research evidence that proves that probiotics help with constipation, but anecdotally, parents and families have told me it has helped. While there's not evidence around use of probiotics for constipation, it is something that you can talk with your pediatrician about, and it does have other benefits for children, including helping their gut be healthy and making sure that the healthy bacteria in their gut is at a higher level. So that's it for today, folks. I hope you found this video about toddler constipation and the high fiber foods that you can include or incorporate in your toddler's diet to help them was useful and helpful for you. If you did find it useful and helpful, give me a like, comment below, and let me know which high fiber food you have most success with your toddler, and make sure you follow this channel. I will see you next time. Take care.